G'day guys, welcome back to Wheelwork. I trust you're doing well as always. So today's video is a little bit of an impromptu video. So today was just planned out to be just a normal day of retail work. I've actually got a customer's car on the hoist here that I'm doing some work on. But I am a little bit stuck waiting on parts and they're not going to be here for 2 to 3 hours. So I thought while I'm waiting, I'll try and knock out a job on this, try and get it done in that time. And I'll show you what we're doing. So what we're doing today is we're actually going to fit a snorkel. So this is the snorkel that I have got. It's a 4-inch stainless steel snorkel that's been powder coated in satin black. This section of it sits behind the guard, so you don't actually see any of that. This is through a company called Meredith Metal Works in Queensland. I've never actually fitted a stainless snorkel, but I do like the look of them. And the reverse entry of it as well is something that sort of tickles my fancy. While we're doing that as well, we're also going to fit a K&N air filter to the factory air box. I know there's a lot of haters out there with K&N filters. I run K&N filters in all of my vehicles. I've never had an issue. However, I would not recommend using K&N filters if you're driving on dusty roads or dusty tracks. So I will be carrying the standard filter with me as well and swapping over when I go off-road. But for on-road purposes, I have no issues running the K&N oiled filter. So we'll do that at the same time. So yeah, we'll start getting into this. Before we start, we'll do a little bit of an intake sound video from sitting in the driver's seat with the window down. So what I'm going to do is just start the thing up. Just going to put it in gear. And I'll just stall it up a little bit to bring up a little bit of boost pressure. So that's it, can't really hear too much. You can hear a little bit of a turbo flutter when you back off, a little bit of a whistle, but nothing too exciting. So I've just started by taping up that guard with some masking tape and also the A-pillar sort of where the snorkel's all gonna sit, just because yeah, it is metal, and if I go rubbing it up against stuff, I don't wanna be scratching anything. So I've just done that. It is actually recommended in the instructions to do that too. So next step is what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove this plastic wheel arch liner from up in here. So I might just jack up this corner just to give myself a bit more room. So yeah, I'll do that now. So basically all you've got to do is go through and remove all of these trim clips and any bolts, like the mud flat bolts, for example, that are holding that guard liner in. And once all of those are removed, just jimmy that liner out. All right, so I ended up having an argument with the guard liner. I'm just gonna let it sort of hang out there, let it think about what it's done. Yeah, but that should give me enough room to get in here. So that is the factory intake duct there that goes into the side of the airbox through into the engine bay there. And then your air gets sucked in through that end bit there. So all we're gonna do now is undo that 10mm bolt, which I've already loosened, and remove this pipe. So just undo that bolt and then wiggle the thing out. So we'll do that now. Right, and that's out. So we'll head into the engine bay now. So what we're going to do now is pull the factory airbox out. So that shouldn't be too hard. We'll just undo that hose clamp there, unplug the airflow meter, pull the wiring off, undo the clips, pull the lid off. And then there's 3 10mm bolts around the base of the airbox that hold it in. So we'll undo them and pull that out. Alrighty, so the airbox is out and that's all sort of ready to go. So now what I'm going to start doing is I've got this template here, which I've got to cut out and measure up, sort of like that. So I'll go ahead and get all that set up. Okay, after spending half an hour triple checking my measurements, I think I've got it right. So it's 110mm from the top of the guard down to here, 360mm to this corner of the guard up here, 245mm from that point to the corner up here, and then 110mm from the top of the guard down to there. So on the third time I measured it, I did actually find out I was out about 5mm. So now if I sit this guy on here, sort of like that, it actually fits perfectly. Lines up with the marks that are on there. So we'll trace that out. We'll cut that out. I don't know what I'm going to cut it out with yet. We've got a few options. And then also I've got to enlarge this hole down here. I've got to enlarge that 10mm all around as well. So I'll go through and cut both of those and we'll check back in shortly. All right, I've enlarged that hole out. I've filed out the edges and I've just put a little bit of touch-up paint around where I've cut. I've just used a bit of black paint. No one sees it anyway, so it doesn't really matter on the color. And now comes the nerve-wracking bit where I get to cut this. Not gonna lie, I am pretty nervous, especially being my own car and it being brand new, but here goes nothing. Okay, seems I've made a hole. I've put the pinch weld on, also filed the edges and painted them first, and then I put the pinch weld on just to sort of neaten it up. So that's that. So now I guess we'll refit the air box. I did tape up that as well. So very big hint there. If you have open intakes and you are doing stuff like this, that's gonna send, you know, dust particles and stuff flying, always tape it up or cover it up some way. So yep, now I'm gonna go ahead and refit the air box and then start offering up the snorkel, but I'll refit the air box first and we'll go from there. Okay, the lower air box is back in and I've connected the first part of the intake, which just sits inside the guard like that. So now I'll try and fit the snorkel in there. Okay, so it's all just kind of sitting in there at the moment. All just kind of sitting there. I'm just going ahead and marking and drilling my holes for the mount inside the A-pillar there. I want to get that mounted and then I'll finish up that silicone underneath the wheel arch. All right, so the actual snorkel is in and finalized. Everything's all in and secured. All of these connectors are in and tightened up. Boom, so it all goes up to the snorkel. I've installed the riv nuts up here into the pillar. So that's all nice and secure, not going anywhere. It's all looking beautiful. The hole here does have a little bit of a gap, but honestly, this was quite tight to get through here when I did slide it through the guard. So I don't think there was an error in the template or anything like that. It's just sort of how it is. I'm not too fussed about it. Any water that gets in there will just drip out onto the ground anyway, regardless. So now I'm gonna go through and get the wheel arch liner back in and all these trims and stuff back on. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll do put the air filter and the air box in. Sweet, all done. That looks good. That's how it all looks. Quite happy with that, and by quite happy I mean I'm extremely happy. So I'm just going to go ahead now, throw the K&N filter in it, put the air box lid back on it, and we'll see how it sounds. Just thought I'd show you the filter sitting in there before I put the air box on. She is all finished now, completely done. Shut the bonnet. Get a proper look at it. The car is actually really starting to take shape now into what I sort of envisioned for it back when I ordered it months ago. So with the last few mods that we're going to put on it, it's really going to take it to what I want it to be. But yeah, let's have a listen. All right, so I've taken the thing for a drive. It all sounds really good. But I'll just have the door shut and show you how it sounds inside the car compared to before by stalling it up again. Quite a bit of a different sound compared to before. And there you have it, 1 4-inch stainless steel snorkel. So I'm quite happy with how that turned out. It sounds amazing, looks good, should be functional. So yeah, it's all wins in my book. So as always, thanks always for watching. If you like what you see, please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care, be good.